I'm not square dancing with you here, people. I'm Jackie.
The music drove me nuts too, Lukey. I'm Justin.
Why wouldn't muskies make one go mad? I'm Sam, and this is Bloodhook from 1986 or 87, depending on Stinker Madness.
I like that it depends on Stinker Madness. That's how you phrase that. 86 or 87, depending on Stinker Madness.
On Stinker Madness.
People can't see commas, Sam, when it's a podcast.
Well, yeah.
Okay.
It's depending on us.
It's depending on us, and we are Stinker Madness. I'm Jackie. With me are always Sam and... Wait, I just said shit. It's going to be one of those days.
Steve.
Yeah, it's going to be one of those days. I'm Justin. With me are always Sam and Jackie. This week on the show...
I want to be Cindy today.
Cindy's fine. Cindy's
You should be
name.
Kirsten from the movie.
Kirsten.
She was annoying as fuck.
I'm Kirsten. Oh, God.
Yeah, I want to be Kirsten.
Currently streaming on Amazon Prime, Bloodhook, a Trauma, not production, but Trauma release, with some interesting coincidental crew notes to be made. Let's just go. We got a lot of territory to go through today. I believe it or not, this Super B bad movie has filled up more pages than I have ever filled up in any movie, including like Dreamcatcher and I don't know, Dreamcatcher.
There's so much shit to write down.
So much
I don't
shit.
take 3 pages of notes ever. I have 3 fucking pages of notes on this one.
We've got a lot of territory to cover, so let's get right to it.
I'll get us started. Okay. The most handsome man in this movie is an old man with a hearing aid.
Yeah, probably. Before we do get started, I do want to say some Stinker Madness alumni just passed away today. Both Piper Laurie and Suzanne Summers just died today.
Wow.
So that's,
both of them?
Both of them. So that's a bummer. Let's take the fun down a little bit, guys, before we get started by feeling some grief. Sam, Bloodhook.
Bloodhook was made in 1986. I'll actually start from the beginning. I've got this, this is sort of a yarn that I've woven. I wrote a full page here. Jim Mallon, native of Minnesota, Rochester, Minnesota.
Oh, Rochester.
Went to one University of Wisconsin-Madison, which is a fine place to learn film and television production.
Did a bunch of good stuff there.
He worked for CBS and PBS in Madison.
Oh, those are good stations.
Before getting his own new UHF station in Minnesota.
Okay, all right.
Which was
67.
KTMA.
Okay.
There we go.
Yeah.
KTMA in Minneapolis. And that was in 1986, the same year that this movie was shot, which will play coincidentally on how this all works out later. He hires one Kevin Murphy.
Kevin Murphy, that name sounds familiar.
Sounds a little familiar.
Yeah.
They would, the first thing that they did together after, like, starting this fledgling UHF station, I'm imagining this, like, UHF with your fucking Weird Al, right?
Right, yeah, that's what I see.
Also, KTMA, because of what would happen later, which we'll get to, still exists, and it's a CW affiliate.
Okay.
So it's still there. That's how good they did.
It's probably a little sprinkling
fucking UHF station.
Little sprinkle of Wayne's World in here, too.
Yeah. They did like this New Year's melon drop thing that looks pretty silly. I kind of watched part of it. It was on. You can actually see some of it on YouTube. It's interesting.
Right.
They would shoot this film in 35 days in Hayward, Wisconsin, for a production budget of $200,000 with 16mm film.
Okay, it's not bad.
That's not very much money.
No, it's really not. And I think they got some use out of those dollars in this movie.
I will later. I think one of my questions we'll ask at the end is this the tightest $200,000 ship you've ever seen?
Pretty tight.
It's a pretty tight ship for $200K. Trauma immediately wanted it.
Okay.
And they're ready to press it, but the MPAA in 1986 says go ahead and release it. It's rated X.
Oh, wow.
And Troma's like, oh, there's a point where who are they actually fucking with right now?
Right.
Like, Troma gets fucked with by the MPAA all the time.
Sure.
Just to dick him. The MPAA isn't like, it's kind of corrupt. It's like so fucked up, it's not even corruptible.
There's a whole documentary.
It's just like, whose friend on the MPAA are you talking to that day? Who's working for the MPAA that day? It's a fucking mess.
It's
like how a film gets rated is just incredible.
Yeah, it's a pisser.
So, beyond having to truncate, edit it down, get some of the blood out, they put some scissors. Lloyd and the Troma team put some scissors to this pretty good. Got it down to an R. Got it to a more friendly 90-minute runtime, I believe. And it was released that way. Video shelves everywhere. Worldwide release, actually. Mm-hmm. They also changed the name from Muskie Madness to Bloodhook because they didn't think anybody would know what a muskie was.
Probably a good call.
Probably a good call. So they're like, okay, I guess that happened. Let's go back to working at our TV station. So they did that. And then in 1988, they met Joel Hodgson.
That name sounds familiar.
And immediately started making Mystery Science Theater 3000.
Oh, that's where I know that name.
At that TV station. And I think some people might not know that that wasn't Comedy Central making that show.
Yeah.
It was these fucking guys in Minnesota, and Comedy Central's like, can we air this, please?
3 chimps on a Davenport.
Yes. The rest is kind of history. You got the breakup, I believe, between Hodgson and Mallon was over the movie.
Okay.
Which it turned out to be a flop.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming that everything kind of like the feathers got unruffled and it's all smoothed out because both factions sort of did fine for themselves. And it didn't seem like there was really any problem with Mallon being like, oh yeah, you can have the rights back, Joel, for the Netflix thing. And then he gets like a credit at the end too, even though he's not really involved in it other than be like, yeah, go ahead, Joel. So all's well that ends well there. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Back to this film.
Okay.
Troma would put it on its YouTube channel. And finally, in 2018, Vinegar Syndrome would decide, we need to revisit this. This got cut for X, so they got the old negatives and they remastered it. And that's what we watched today, was the 111-minute untruncated version of the original film, which was remastered from its original 16 millimeter. One of the things that I'm noticing about this movie when I first start watching it is I'm looking at it, I'm like, this looks pretty fucking good. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, man, this is about as good as 16 millimeter you can do with 16 millimeter. And then about 3/4 of the way through the movie, I'm realizing how much of this they're shooting at night with 16 millimeter, which is really fucking hard.
It is. I didn't even think about that. Probably half of this movie is shot at night.
Yeah, they shot this with a fucking CP. I mean, I know they're using a CP16 because that's what news channels used. Right. So that's what they just had a 16. This is incredibly well made.
Jackie, or actually go with Sam. I'm not sure how. Sam knows quite a bit about cameras and films, obviously. But have we ever really talked about, like, isn't 8 millimeter the cheapest, shittiest film that there is, or is there one worse?
I think there might have been worse, but there was nothing ever more budget yet reliable enough to work than 8 millimeter.
Right. But so 16 is one step above the worst film you can buy.
No, 16 is actually the best you can do for the weight. Like, there's the consideration of the CP16. A lot of the CP16 goes into, like, you can bring this to Vietnam and not weigh yourself down and run from the bullets.
Sure. Yeah, okay.
Dan Rather and his bud are using a CP16 in Vietnam. So the weight is the main requirement. Like, in 16 millimeter, like, television news looked good, especially if you go to, like, Chicago or Minneapolis where they're using this, right? Mm-hmm. Like, these guys can fucking use a CP16, and we had a CP16 at Boise State. I shot with a CP16, like, I got to shoot 2 shots, I think, because the film was so fucking expensive. It was like, oh, I can make 2 shots, or I can shoot all day on video, and these tapes cost nothing by comparison. Right. That's where, like, $200,000, like, I got to shoot 2 shots with that camera because it was too expensive to use. And they're like, this is about as cheap as we can do it. I'm like, wow. This it's a good camera for the weight, all of that sort of expedited process of news making is where you have the 16 millimeter being the best union of quality and speed.
But you wouldn't exactly call it a Hollywood staple.
No, and in fact, when we think about Hollywood movies and 35 millimeter standard, they shot a lot of the big ones on 72 millimeter because they want them to look better, right?
Yeah.
Jesus, this was not the podcast for me not to be drinking.
So, what would you say the cost benefit equation would be for these different various? Let's go all the way into modern times, Sam, with digital, and let's get out some flow charts.
I've got efficiency charts on this.
Okay, he's got a PowerPoint, Jackie. We're ready to go.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Actually, I got a slideshow because I like film so much. I'm going to do it with slide. Really put you to sleep. Color positive.
Oh, thank God. I really hope that we're going to include that content on our website.
Yeah, right.
The only actor in this movie, I guess there's two. Mark Jacobs, who plays Peter, was in things before this. He's actually an actor, I guess.
All right.
And then Bill Lowry, the crazy Evelyn or whatever.
Oh, the
son.
The conspiracy theorist son. Yeah.
Yeah, so he was in some stuff too, but not much after. They're the only people that are like really actors. Beyond this looking so good, knowing what I know about it, the thing that I find even more incredible that they shot this at night with 16 and it all looks this good is that these are just some girls from Minnesota. And they're not like just usually when you watch these movies, it's like a local production and it's like, these are the two girls that would do it. And you're like, whoa, boy. Yeah. Like Lisa from The Room kind of things.
Or the daughter from Troll 2.
Yeah, this is, they're very attractive 80s women who, with real no acting, like that other thing is that because these people aren't really actors, they're just doing, they're just kind of doing what Jim's telling them. They're doing a great job. The two actual actors are trying to lay it on thick a couple times. I'm like, man, you guys are stinking right now. And you're the only ones that kind of know what you're doing. These Midwest girls are great. On a time machine, get married to one of them.
Yeah, and our villain is not, I mean, he's hamming it up, but he's being told to ham it up. And
he's incredible. Durst, he's never been in anything.
Yeah, Durst is good. I mean, yeah, I'm with you.
It's yeah, wow. So the muskie that they had, this is the last fun thing. I guess in an interview, Kevin Murphy worked on this too.
What was Kevin's job?
Kevin was a key grip.
Ah, key grip. Jackie, what's a key grip?
Hell if I know.
It's a gopher.
No, the key grip is not the gopher. The grips are the gophers. The key grip is the head of labor.
He's the head of gophers.
He's the head of gophers.
Right.
He was probably doing some gaffing. They shot this in 35 days in Hayward, Wisconsin, which is actually got that huge fish. Do you want to go there now? That's still there.
So when I learned that huge fish existed and was still there, I really wish that we had seen this movie before our trip to Wisconsin, because we just kind of threw a dart at the map of Wisconsin and said, let's go camp there. I totally would have been like, this is where we're going.
This is where we're going.
Yeah, as soon as they get on that shot of that great big muskie, I was like, that was my very first question to Justin. Do we know if that still exists? And he was like,
you thought it was a set piece. You thought it wasn't real.
They wouldn't have $200,000. No. That thing costs more than $200,000 to make.
It's like that weird, like the Pee-wee, the dinosaurs. It's like the weird desert art that exists on what is
Route
it?
66.
It is 66. Yeah. It's glorious. I love it.
It's incredible. Everything I find out about Wisconsin makes me like it more, and I've never been there. I'm jealous that you guys got to go. I'm actually worried that I would go to Wisconsin, and then I'd be like, I can never leave here. Someone take me in.
You probably would do well in Wisconsin, Sam. You would probably. That's exactly what would happen.
never gone.
You can't understand
like
a word half the people say, and that's something that checks a box on your list. Like, yeah, that guy's weird. I don't know what he's talking about, but I like him. And it's gorgeous. Like remember those farms, Jackie? Woo, red barns and all that shit.
Yeah, I mean, Wisconsin was really pretty, and everybody that we talked to, was just so nice.
Yeah, they're nice people. A little kooky for sure, but nice people.
Oh, and slow as fuck if you're trying to go through the Hardee's drive-thru to get a Coke.
Oh, yeah. You're going to be there all day just for a Coke.
I was sitting there for like 5 minutes at the window, like, okay, and nobody came to the window, and nobody was working on the Cokes, and I'm like, okay, I guess I'm just going to drive away.
They're all inside being like, so did you get to go to the game last night? Did you watch the local football team play, whatever their name would be? I assume that they're the Cheesers or the Cheddars or the Cheeseheads or the Backers.
Yeah. I also like that Jackie threw shade at me for talking nuts and bolts on film, and she's like, yeah, Cokes at Hardee's, totally not boring.
Shut up, Sam.
Hey, at least she set me up for a Wisconsin joke.
Yeah, there you go. I guess the last guy I'd mention would be the Thomas A. Naunis, who did all the music. All the music is original, too. Like, this is impossibly well done.
Yeah.
I mean, what's happening on screen is debatable how much you like it, how much you don't like it. Whether you think some of it could be cut, some of it doesn't. Everything's purposeful. They do actually have a lot of deleted scenes that they didn't use in the original version of this. So, like, this is on purpose. And so when I'm looking, I'm like, God, this is $200,000 with a bunch of TV people from Minnesota and Wisconsin. Because that's what happens is he gets the talent, quote unquote, brings them from Minnesota. And then the crew is all his old PBS station from Madison, Wisconsin.
Right.
And that's how this all works. It's like, I got my new TV station. It's like a going away present from his old PBS station is this fucking movie. They fucking knock this shit out of the park when you take that into consideration.
Mm-hmm. And I'm sure it made a shit ton of money on tape.
Well, as far as they're concerned, they got X amount from Troma, and then Lloyd got the rest of the cash.
Right, that's what I mean.
I'm sure Vinegar Syndrome, when they got the remaster, they're renegotiating the deal with everybody involved at that point, but Troma's probably X'd out. No, they're not. They left Troma on the front end. We watched it.
Yep.
We saw the Troma still there.
Yep.
Lloyd is supposed to be super reasonable, which is always why I'm like, when the MPAA is giving him the business, I'm like, why are you giving this silly man who's completely reasonable the business? MPAA, you dicks.
I don't know. I don't see how this movie could be anything in it. It could have been
X. We watched a rated X movie today.
Yeah, there's nothing there. I mean, the lady doesn't even get her cans out. Like, she gets side boob out.
Side boob. Oh, I should mention that's Lisa Ann Todd or Lisa Todd, whatever. She actually does movies after this, and that's what a little side boob will get you.
There you go.
Some lady from Minnesota got part of her boob out, and they're like, I've seen her before. We need to get her in the movie.
I need to see her from the side, though, to make sure. All right.
Yeah.
Is that it?
That's it.
I want to say first that I've got a grief, even though I said we got a lot of territory. I have to say this, though. Prime's search engine really sucks, and I'm tired of it. I am tired of how bad that search engine sucks on their freaking streaming service. Like, you have to type in the entire title of the movie and then go over to the right-hand side and click the option of the entire title of the movie before it shows you any results. I typed in Blood H, and it still didn't show me Blood Hook. There can't be another movie like Blood Happy Times? Come on, show me Blood Hook.
You know whose fault that is?
Bezos?
No, Earth people.
Earth people.
The same fault of all of the why everything works stupid, because everybody's fucking stupid. I'm gonna guess, and I'm grieving Earth being a bunch of stupid faces. I bet half to 75% of people that watch these streaming services just let the fucking thing drive them around.
Yeah, just tell me.
You know what I mean?
I have no ability to think for myself. Independent thought. You shall rule my viewing ship, overlords of algorithms.
Yeah, and which is great, too, because if you're not doing your own searching and you're just letting it drive for you, it's on its own algorithm. It's like, we're selling you this, and you're like, oh, give me more.
That's what I like.
Give me more. Put the butter in the oatmeal and jam her down my throat.
Is that some Wisconsin's talk? Is that a saying up there?
No, that's just fat people that watch TV.
Oatmeal butter.
Well, that's what it is. If you're letting the fucking ship do the driving, they're not going to show you anything good or qualitative. It's going to be whatever fucking jam-packed oatmeal fest they've got. Content. What kind of content? Mostly styrofoam.
You might get lucky with some oatmeal butter. All right, let's get into this. You like the music, Sam? I do not. My first note is nice Tubular Bells knockoff. It's the theme from fucking Exorcist. Again,
I'm not saying I like things. I'm just saying when you put this on paper, you go, impressive. The original music is sort of an icing on the cake where you're like, this is, and you did your own music, what the hell? Okay. Also, throughout the movie, they're talking about the tritone, and they're hitting that tritone in this, and it's supposed to be shit.
Yeah. The brown note.
You know who did good with the tritone? They actually turned it into a trichord, and they distorted it. No. And they went fast, and it was Mr. Bungle. Oh. And then everybody copied them and couldn't do it because they weren't good enough.
Here we go, Mr. Bungle.
Mr. Bungle.
Jackie, did you know that the theme from Exorcist was a top 10 hit on the Billboard charts in the year 1974?
No.
It was the jam of the summer. And Sam, did you know that Tubular Bells, the theme from Exorcist, was a 45-minute long song?
No, it's not.
It is. It takes up two sides of the disc. It's the entire album is Tubular Bells.
Oh, that's right. It's Mike Oldfield, right?
Mike Oldfield, yes.
Yeah, that is Tubular Bells. But there's like a whichever movement is the one that was the hit on the radio.
Yeah, right.
And that's the thing is that I don't think Mike Oldfield, he didn't do that for Exorcist. Exorcist just took it.
Yeah.
Like all of the eeriness. I mean, it's in kind of an eerie song, but like I thought that was just Mike Oldfield making an album.
He did. Yeah, it's 45 minutes long. Anyways, okay. But then we get followed music by something I didn't know existed. Sexy nightclub lady on top of a piano singing about fishing.
This confused me. And so I had a real tough time picking between this and Night Beast for my pick. Because they're both on Netflix now, and I've had my finger on both of these for a while, and I was like, ooh, which one? And so, like, you didn't even know which one I picked until the morning, and you were with me last week after the show when I was trying to actually pick the movie, and I've been suffering that long over the pick. So I watched the first 20 minutes of both of them.
Okay.
Which didn't make it any fucking easier.
Okay, yeah.
I'll tell you that right now.
Right.
So this fish thing has been in my head all week. Because I'm like, is that a song? But I didn't care enough to like look it up. No, they made that song.
Fishing, I've got my tackle over here. Don't you like my tackle when I shake it in front of your face? Like,
and then she has to hit the
fishing
tritone so that it goes with the cicadas. So she's like, fishing, and then just like hits this fucking stray note on purpose that makes sense. It's plot relevant, but you're like, what the fuck?
So, and this little kid,
but they made it for the movie.
Yeah,
right?
They did. This little kid comes down in a mine cart because that's how they have to get to the dock. They've got an actual functioning mine cart that you ride in. Maybe it's called a gondola. I mean, it serves the purpose.
I don't know what those are called.
It's cart. Anyways, so he comes down, his grandpa's fishing, listening to Sexy Lady, and they seem to be getting along, everything's going great, and then all of a sudden loud noises when she hits that note, the cicadas crescendo, and grandpa's like, and then falls in the water, and doesn't come back up. And young Peter stares after his grandpa.
He kind of just wanders off.
Yeah.
Yeah, that too. So it's at this point that I'm like, what the fuck just happened? Did the cicadas kill this man? And then I thought this movie had a hook in it.
Years
like
later,
a Captain Hook.
Years later, we
hand.
find out that this is the Blood Hook murder. But did you guys see a hook anywhere?
No, he just face planted and didn't come up.
It seemed like he was like, I hate bugs, and dove into the water to ease his pain.
But like face first, like he slaps his face, it's like a face flop into the water with pockets full of lead weights.
Oh, I know what he was doing, Sam. You haven't seen this because you don't live out here, but if you've ever seen a cicada, you will know that they are the stupidest bugs that have ever lived, and they will purposely smash their faces into walls. They just constantly are killing themselves off of our bricks. So
when they come up, when they come up, there's so many of them, they're fucking... Like, it's turtles all the way down, right? They're just on top of each other. Yeah. It's fucking ridiculous.
And they bash their faces into stuff. So he's like, I must become like the cicada. They're in my mind. That's why he's smashing his face against the water.
Yeah.
You live underground your entire life, and then you come up for 2 days, and you commit suicide against my house. That's your life.
That's your life.
Yeah. 17 years later, we got drunk driving. Everybody's drinking and driving in the 80s.
It was totally fucking... Okay, so... It's Wisconsin in 1986. Yeah. Everyone's doing it.
Yeah, everybody's doing that.
It's trucking and fucking, basically.
Yep, and every single one of them are also driving Chevy Blazers. Every single
The cops are driving drunk in the Great Lakes areas in this time.
You turn 16 in Wisconsin, they hand you the keys to a Blazer and a 12-pack of Coors.
My friend Mike's from Minnesota, and he's an older guy, and he would say when he grew up in Minnesota, if you weren't drinking and you were doing less than 100, you were a fucking idiot, and they were going to pull you over.
So I'm going to need to see your driver's license, your registration, and your proof of drinking.
Yeah. No, I think they pull you over, and then they just start pouring beer in your mouth. Like, you're going to take it, and you're going to like it, you son of a bitch. We're going to teach you how to drive proper.
Officer Davis, will you go get the beer bong, please? Yeah, just go ahead and stand on the hood of this guy's car and shove it down his throat.
Yep.
Toss some empties in there, too, so the next time he gets pulled over, the cops will know he's good.
Yeah, drop a shot of beam in there. Give him a Boilermaker, huh? That'll set him up. That'll set him up.
I like it. Okay, so Peter is the kid from the beginning. He has inherited this cabin where his grandfather became a cicada, and him and his pals from college are going up to the cabin for the week or weekend or whatever, how long.
So he's finally inherited it. He's 21. He has finally come into his inheritance from his grandpa, and as part of his inheritance is this cabin.
Right.
He's got a fucking sweet Blazer.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, this kid...
He's a shithead.
Oh, he's Peter a shithead, and he's got money, and he is an ungrateful little fucker.
Peter might be one of our worst in all of our movies.
Yeah.
He's really
a
bad.
Stupid shithead.
Elsewhere, there's a motorhome. They pull into the Harbinger's bait shop, which I guess he can't be the Harbinger, but he does do the Harbinger thing, like, oh, yeah, don't go down that road. There's a lot of history on that road. Sure, whatever, crazy old person. We're going to do whatever we want. Yeah, well, don't shit in the lake because the lake won't take it. Yeah. And then I like the dad. He's like, he gets all pissed off because he's like, I have to stop and ask for direction because there's no goddamn good signs around here.
Yeah.
What do you do with all your tax money?
I was just like, wow. I've never, this is the first time I've ever seen this, ever. I've made signs for 20 fucking years, and finally somebody asked for a sign? Finally?
There should be more signs in movies. That's what Sam always says.
Yeah, no, there's a fucking shitload of signs in movies. I also so I wrote down my favorite quotes, and we missed one already, but Rodney, who's the fishing lure earring guy, who's awesome.
Yeah.
He says, hippie music makes him feel like chowder. What does that mean?
Okay, so at the bait shop, the kid, who I also think is great. If I had two characters that I'd like to see a buddy pick, it would be Rodney and this kid, because he's hilarious. He gets a free stud finder, which I didn't know that these were a thing before they had the electronic stud finders. It was basically just a magnet, and you wouldn't search out.
Look for the stud. You're looking for the nails.
Yeah, you're looking for the nails, and it's just a little magnet. It says, kind of cool.
I have never used one. Magnet or the radio ones or whatever. You just knock on the wall. It's pretty fucking easy.
Well, I can't. I literally can't use the electric one because every time I hold one, it just starts going off.
Oh my god! Because you're such a stud.
Because it's a stud finder.
If I put it in front of my pants, the electronics just start smoking.
Found one.
It actually it makes like a weird sound when it dies electronically. It's like yo joiner.
It's a fire hazard.
They kicked me out of Home Depot. I walked down the wrong aisle. Fucking whole thing almost went up in flames. Eardrums bursting from all the huge wiener yelling of the machines.
All right. So they get to the giant muskie, into the group, the kids. They get to this giant muskie. There's a fishing festival going on this whole week.
This is just awesome.
It's so awesome.
Like, everything happening is awesome in this scene because I'm like, whoa, real giant fish. And then Midwesterners just being Midwesterners. And Danny motherfucking Dobbins.
Danny Dobbins.
Danny Dobbins is the fucking cheating fisherman
I
that
know. Yeah.
when they frickin' walk in there, you're like, what a fucking dickhead. You are beautiful.
He is so glorious. It seems like he's in charge of the fishing games, which the only fishing games are try to chuck your bait into a floating life preserver. Like
it's a casting
accuracy thing.
Yeah.
And he does it, and his Finner, one of the group
Finnegan,
of kids, he comes up and he's like, "Oh yeah," and he pulls out his assembles, like in the scenes with like Leon the Professional, where he's got the little gun case and it takes him forever to put the silencer on and put all the kit on so he can shoot the president or whatever. That's what he does here. But then he's got a handle on the ass end of it that has tassels coming out of it. And the one rule in fishing, apparently, is there's no tassels in fishing.
Well, no, there wasn't. That's not a rule until he beats him, right? He's like, oh, why don't you get your purse out, jackass? And then he does better, and he's like, there's no tassels in fishing.
No tassels in fishing, you cheating son of a bitch. Tassels? So
what?
He pulled this. Is this the prop off of a little girl's bicycle?
It is. It's just the handle off a little girl's bicycle. And I think the funniest thing about it is I was thinking about it. And if that was a long enough rod, really all you're doing is giving yourself another 6 inches of oomph to really get them whirled out there. It's actually not a bad idea.
Tassels?
No, the bicycle handle.
Oh, okay.
Just extending the handle. I actually have a rod that has like stupid amounts of... Like my hands are almost 3 feet apart when I cast. It's that much leverage.
You gotta have
it's called a surf caster.
You gotta make beep 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 sounds when you cast, so you don't back into something.
No, the fishing pole says "Goodbye, you tweener man" as the bait goes out.
Okay, all right. They meet Bev D, who's the town floozy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kinda.
She is. There's no kinda.
Either way, she's hot enough for the job. Yeah. I was very impressed with her for the movie. Like, I'm like, man, I gotta find out what all these hot actresses are in. They're not in any. These are just some hot ladies.
From town.
From fucking Minnesota. Yeah. She's incredibly hot.
Yeah, she's got a little Michelle Bauer. Not the cans,
she's got a little Michelle Bauer going.
The face, yeah. All right, so they meet her. She likes Finner's pole, and they're like, "That's nice. We'll see you later." Then the Durst comes running out of nowhere and says, "Turn off that damn sound machine." And then,
Wayne Durst.
Yeah.
Because there's two.
Bev is like, it's okay, and takes him away. And it's like, is he the town loony or what the hell's this guy's deal? But see him. The group, they go up to the top of the muskie because it's like Pee-wee's thing. You can go up, sit in its mouth, and look around. And Durst is down on the ground, being like, leering at the creepily. It's cool.
Mm-hmm.
So they get to the cabin. Then we see what's his son's name? Elliot?
Evelyn.
Evelyn. Okay. He's a conspiracy theorist whack job he pretends he loves guns and knows everything about guns and wants to shoot all the people and
He saw some shit in the war.
He didn't go to the war. The water's making the frogs gay or toothpaste is. I'm not sure. He's definitely into
But he's
Alex
not
Jones.
even any of those things. He's just an optimist of those things.
An optimist of Alex Jones.
Yeah. Like, he's not a real conspiracy theorist or a domestic terrorist. He's an optimist of that sort of lifestyle. He can't actually do any of it. He just kind of thinks he wants to, but then doesn't really want to get his toes wet. Everything's actually too scary for this man.
Okay. But I guess he's just been hanging out on the property this whole time while Grandpa's been dead, waiting for somebody to come in, move into his cabin. And his dad, the creepy guy from the festival, is the groundskeeper or the caretaker of the house, the cabin, whatever. And he's like, well, screw you guys. You're nothing like your grandfather. I quit. Okay, I didn't even know you worked here. Because we saw you earlier in town. You told us to shut off that music but here you are.
And who can blame him, really?
What, for quitting?
No, for telling them to shut that shit off.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, actually, he gets more miffed that Rodney freelances chopping some wood poorly.
Yeah, right.
And then everybody else gets pissed off, too. Peter's like, you can't do that up here. If you're going to chop wood, you better not fuck it up.
Yeah, you better be cool about it. You better look really tough and chop stuff perfectly.
If bad wood chopping...
Mm-hmm.
is actually the worst Great Lakes etiquette, then I want to move to Wisconsin more. I'm really good at chopping wood.
Okay, so the team goes inside, and the first thing they do is they find the sexy fishing record. Going fishing, and then Peter hears it, and it takes him back to that tragic day. Oh, Grandpa. And this is, let's just get Peter out of the way. This is his M.O. Peter has no direction in life. He thinks he's a fucking musical savant, but really he's about as good as Ross at making music. Ross is actually way better at making music.
Ross is way better.
Yeah, but that's his shtick and he won't commit to anything. Like, could go to music school, but he's like, oh, God, everybody wants me to do stuff. But he's not even poopy about being like, oh, God. He's just like mopey? Or is mopey too much?
He's just lazy, and he's fairly well off, so... he likes to hang out with people, kind of, but if they make him do anything, he's going to be a total douchebag about it.
He's going to get all emo about it. Like, he doesn't, say anything like, I'm not doing that. He's just, sad.
Yeah, he's like, you want to go get breakfast? Why do I have to get breakfast? I'm not asking you that. I'll fucking go get it. Are you hungry, you fucking dickhead?
Always torture me with your questions!
And his go-to thing is just to stare at you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
With his mouth open, because he's a fucking mouth breather on top of everything else.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's just like, I can't believe that you would ask me for breakfast.
Oh, God, the weight.
I gotta go lay down.
The crushing weight that has been placed upon me. Oh, no one understands my life, said Peter. Because you don't have one, Peter. There's nothing of quality about you and your life.
Yeah.
You are...
Also, Evelyn has become part of the gang now.
Yeah, right?
Possibly because he has nowhere else to go, or I'm not sure. He's just like, well, I was already here. I was here first. We're friends now.
Squatters' rights. I'm your bestie. That's how that works.
I got a room in the house.
So they go out to dinner at the local fish restaurant, and there is also the RV family from earlier, and these people are kooky.
This is where, at first, you're like, oh, RV family dickheads, whatever. This family comes into its own in this scene in major fucking ways. It is incredible.
Mom appears to hate her family, but loves misquoting movies and loons. She's loon lover. She's a lover of loons. She's also a loon.
Do you know what a loon is, Jackie?
It's a duck.
I thought it's not a duck. It's like a duck, but it's a loon.
Yeah, it's like a duck, but it's not a duck. It's got a black head and neck.
And they got sharper, but it's like almost a duck, I guess.
And
but not quite.
We didn't hear the loons in Wisconsin. That was one thing I had my ear peeled for the entire time, because I watched this whole thing on CBS Mornings. That's where I'm at in life, listeners. Yeah, I'm old. About the loons and about how, like, there's this thing in film where there's one loon lover out there, lady, and she was like president of the Loon Society, and she continually is having to buy new TVs because she keeps throwing her remote through her TV because of the overuse of the loon as an atmospheric prop in cinema. And it's not like, you'll hear it in movies that take place in California or France or wherever, that there's no loons there, and she's like, she rage quits the movie.
So maybe that's the thing that's happening here with Jim Allen, is that he's like, there's actually not that many loons, so I'm just gonna like pad this wall-to-wall carpet, pad this movie with loon sounds.
Yeah, right. I can't even do it. They make a weird.
I don't know what the fuck.
They're cool. They're cool. It's a cool sound, but overused in film for sure. And so she's like, I hate you guys. I'm going to go to my sister's. You enjoy your family vacation without me, I guess. That's how RVing works. I'll take a cab. And they're like, dude, do you know where you are?
Yeah, you're not going to get it. He says, yeah, okay, you'll be there next week because the nearest cab's in fucking Green Bay, Mom. The kid in this scene is great.
Oh, he's awesome.
And you're like, oh, he's stealing this family show. But then his dad fucking tosses shade at the kids, or protagonists, for being drunk. And he kind of comes into his own, too.
Yeah,
so,
right.
But what's really key here for their family dichotomy is their mom's like, I guess I'll walk to my sister's house 2 towns away. And they're like, cool story. See you later.
In the dark.
Bye.
Yep.
Yep, yeah. And the kid's like, way to go, Dad. She's really PO'd this time.
I don't care. I came to fish.
He said, he's like, eat your fish. Even though the beginning of the conversation starts with the daughter being like, I can't eat this. When I put it in my mouth, it makes me want to vomit. And it ends with, shut up and eat the shit.
You better get used to it, because Daddy's bringing in a long haul this weekend, kids. It's going to be fish for months.
Yep.
Do you eat muskie?
Yeah.
Okay.
You can eat anything. It's just about how you cut it, right?
You can eat anything, but do you want
and
to?
Honestly, if you can eat them whole with the skin almost regardless of what they are, depending on how you cook it.
Like a big Subway sandwich.
It's all about getting the bones not killing you.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so Mom's outside. She hears the loons, the cry of the loons, and she uses her loon call, whatever. I'm not going to question
a train whistle.
Yeah, train. Choo-choo. And then we see
gets
her.
Hooked.
She gets hooked, but we see her reverse view from inside the restaurant because Peter's watching her, and what she's doing on the dock is just spinning in a circle. And then falls into the water.
It's beautiful because I backed it up and watched it twice. She does a perfect pirouette into a complete freeze and falls sideways into the water. Because I watched it, I was like, that's terrible. I got to watch this again. And when I watched it again, I was like, that wasn't terrible. That was magnificent.
That was majestic. It's majestic.
All of it was on purpose.
Townie. And then Peter sees the whole thing and he's like, "Oh, that's weird."
Doesn't say anything to anyone that this woman has just thrown herself into the water and that she's not coming back up. I mean, he's obviously sitting there watching her.
He's negligent is a light accusation of this man by the end of the film.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, he's like, I'm seeing weird stuff. Like what? My wife drowning? Like, would you be specific on the strange thing you just saw? Instead, though, perhaps he was going to say something. But the husband of that woman's like, oh, don't listen to him. He's shit-faced.
Yeah, right.
And then he tries to talk again. He's like, no, your only problem is how much beer you got in your stomach. Watch out for this dickhead, honey. And he's right.
Yep.
He's right.
All right, so the boys, the next day, they go fishing. And Rodney doesn't want to go fishing. He thinks it's lame, like chowder. But then he gets musky madness while he's down there. And he's obsessed with fishing now, even though he's like an alt dude. Now he's like, you're right, fishing is awesome.
He's everybody that's never gone fishing before and is a, quasi-adult. We're like, I don't really like that. And then they see it and they're like, well, I mean, it looks interesting. And then they do it once and they're like, okay, this is kind of fun. You just throw this thing back. And the first time they catch a fish, they're like, oh my God, this is the greatest thing in life. I have the fever.
So Finner catches a giant muskie. He caught a big one that the other guy was trying to get. That had a little hair tie on it. We're not even going to get into that because we don't have time for everything.
I have to do trivia on this one.
Okay.
So that's a real muskie.
Okay.
Doesn't it look a little bit limp and pretty beat up?
It's not. It's pretty dead looking.
Would you like to know why?
Got hit by a car.
They tried to make a muskie.
Okay.
And they couldn't get anything convincing going. So they went to a taxidermist, and he's like, I'm good enough that I'll fix it no matter what you do with it. They would put it back on ice, but they used this muskie in shooting for 3 weeks.
Oh, boy.
Oh,
God. My God.
That thing had to...
Oh, boy.
God, I hope they shot that scene where he's carrying around on his... Like, he's just got his half of his arm up it, and he's carrying it up to Bev's cottage. I hope that they did that one early, because that's a lot of time with...
It doesn't seem like it because the gills have become detached.
Yeah.
You can barely hold it up. It's flopping. It looks rank on screen. I'm like, and when I read that, I was like, oh God, how are they not vomiting?
Dude, just don't do it anyways. Like, cut the fish from the scene. It's stupid. So they're there and they see Bev D. She's running around doing her track stuff. And they're like, oh, hey.
She's obsessed with fitness.
Yeah, there's Bev. Let's go talk to her. So they freaking yard sale the boat, basically, and then just jump off of it. I'm assuming that they anchored the boat, but I didn't see them do that. Otherwise, that boat is floating away, and you were never getting it back.
Yeah. Well, it seemed like visibly it hit the ground. It came aground pretty good, and there was a log behind it, so they just lucked out on that one.
So they go to her house, and they bring the muskie along because they're like, well, we can't leave it in the boat. Somebody will steal it.
Yeah, and they're right.
Sure, but
because
for the sake of the movie, just put it nice.
We failed to mention that this is Denny Dobbins' cheating fish.
It's his cheating fish.
He's been raising this fish to be giant, and he put a hair crunchy thing on it so he could find it. Like, that would actually work, right, Denny, you fucking ass. Like, God.
There it is!
Cheating. I'm going to load this fish into the lake and go catch it. That's how I'm going to win this tournament. And then somebody else catches it. So fucking strange.
Yeah.
So I kind of thought that the fish was in the horse trough thing with a couple of other fishes, and he had weighed them, and then that was the one that he needed to take with him. So he put a little clip on it so he would know which one he was supposed to take.
It doesn't matter.
But
Maybe.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Let's move on.
The old man comes around and he pushes the whole thing into the water.
Matter. Let's move on.
Wow,
inside,
thanks for completely dismissing me.
Jackie, I said at the beginning of this segment, we're going to skip that because we don't have time. There is a clock ticking. Pay attention. So inside with Bev D, we find out that Finner's like there to bang her, and she's on to Finner pretty good, but she's like, yeah, I'm married. Oh, and also I have a child. And Finner's like, great. Sucks. But it doesn't matter. None of it matters. Because it's Bev. She's a floozy. So fish guy. I'm sorry, not the fish guy. They go for a run because that's her thing, and we cut to a shot of a dead brook trout that appears to have had a Save the Loons pin stabbed into its chest.
Yeah, somebody that really likes loons.
And hates brook trout.
Was like, spread the word, precious fish. Stab. Plunk.
I like Ike pin incoming. I'm a fish. I don't vote. Weird. It's a weird shot. I don't know why it exists.
The loons, there's a bunch of the loon stuff, and it's like, I guess maybe they're hitting that trichord, or the tritone, but I don't know.
Maybe. Yeah, it doesn't come. It doesn't circle back. Meanwhile, Bev D is a terrible mother, and because she's not watching her kid throughout length of this entire movie, she is not watching her child.
She kennels her toddler outside
in the lake.
Just like
he's in the lake.
No, that's in a different scene.
So he's in the lake on his own. I'm just talking about when she's actually not within visual sight of him. Yeah, she lets him go drown whenever if she can see him, right? But if she's gonna go jogging or bang a dude, she kennels him outside. So if he poops, it's not in the house. I'm guessing.
Damn it, Betty is a real bad mother.
She seems so nice in the movie, and when you think about it afterwards, you're like, what a crazy bitch.
Yeah, she's awful. Like, the kid is going to die. That is, I can't, I think it was a Jim Gaffigan joke. I'm not sure. I don't like quoting Jim Gaffigan, but the bit is that's all children are trying to do. Your job is to keep them from killing themselves. That's all they try to do. And you are the one that is preventing death. You cannot stick a toddler in a lake while you go do push-ups and expect the child to be like, well, I'll just sit here and be cool. No, it's going to die. It will die.
Well, and the fact that it's directly in the sun, too, is, I'm sure...
Oh, yeah. Come on, man.
It's naked and it's in the sun, so...
Kid is shrinking up pretty good. It's like a wet rag.
He's got a bowl of water.
Oh my god, Bev. Sure enough, the kid's fucking hooked. Wait a minute. The kid is hooked in the leg, like the thigh, he screams, but the hook doesn't sink in, and the kid gets away. Bev comes and grabs it. Why did the kid get hooked, knowing what we know about the murderer's motive?
I don't think he's particular when he's in his madness.
But there has to be the trigger, and nothing triggered him.
She's listening to music.
Is she? Well, she's
working out on the beach.
Well, also, we've got a multitude of red herrings as with that lure specifically. Yeah. This could just be some asshole fucking up.
Accidental hooking.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't stick your kid in the lake during a goddamn fishing tournament, Bev D.
I mean, I was really rough on her for kenneling the kid, but if you're going to unkennel him, I mean, not now.
Right, now's not the time. Okay. So Rodney, he's really into it, and he's down trying to get fishing stuff from Lakey, the fish bait guy, the harbinger from the beginning. And he tells... Lockie tells the story of the history of this town and the Von Cleeses and the Dursts, how they were best friends and they would go fishing all the time with a loaded gun that had a lucky bullet in it, and they would shoot muskies in the head and then pull them in and then pull that bullet out, re-freaking cap it and re-shell it and stick it back in the freaking rifle and shoot another one. And then one day while they were shooting, maybe they drank too much. I'm not real clear on how this part worked. But Durst shot Van Cleese in the ass, And he's like, you're never pulling that bullet out of me, doctors. That's my friend's bullet. It belongs in me because I'm a tough guy. That's the point I'm trying to get to.
Yeah, it's a really weird story.
Huh.
Like, really weird.
That's an interesting story there, guy. He even says
Yeah.
that. Huh. That's different. So he goes fishing solo because Finner, he's a new dad now. He's instant family because he's, despite the fact that Bev D is married and has a child, let's just go with the married thing. He's still all upon her, like, and she's cool with it. So Rodney, he makes his first mistake of the day by going swimming in his jeans.
Yep, I was my first mistake, swimming in jeans. Jackie, have you ever swam in jeans?
No, but I've fallen into the water with my jeans on, and it is a terrible experience.
Like all the way, like up above your waist, or just like your ankle?
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
like,
yeah. See, you've got the experience.
Yeah. I have in my life gone, well, I guess I'm just going in like this. It's the worst idea ever.
It's such a bad idea.
And if you choose to do it, it's worse than if it happens accidentally. You're like, oh my God, this is awful. But if you do it on purpose, you're like, I chose this.
Why did I do that?
I'm stupid.
I have never worn leather pants. I'm not qualified for leather pants. It's above my pay grade. But
Yeah.
I would assuming swimming in leather pants counterintuitively would be better than swimming in jeans because swimming in jeans is such a horrible experience.
I don't think leather can soak up that much water.
Yeah, see? They might actually come off easier if you've
It's like they soak up water, they become stiff in the water, and then when you get out of the water, you're a lead weight. It's like there's nothing worse that you can do in swimming than do it in jeans.
Yeah, yep. So then he cranks the tunes after he gets back into the boat, and the cicadas crescendo, oh no! And he's hooked, and he's pulled into the water.
He's hooked in the nuts.
In hilarious
this is
fashion.
Funny.
Bonks his head against the motor.
Oh, yeah. And there's the one shot after he's bonked his head and he's like holding on for dear life where the lure gets yanked and he's getting tiny tugged out of the boat by his nuts. And you're just like, oh God, this is wow. And that's probably the part that got cut. Like the best part,
maybe his nuts came off or something. I don't know. Yeah.
No, we saw the X-rated version. I'm saying that might have been a part that no one saw until 5 years ago.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, and that's because somebody at the film rating place was like, that's not funny. That happened to me.
Back in 72, I was fishing off the coast of Florida. When
Worst part about it was my own hook.
Yeah. I did it to myself. It's not funny. It's a common thing, okay? We shouldn't make fun of it.
I was wearing jeans. Thought I'd wash the blood off by just diving in. Mistake 2.
So the cops are on it. They're like, hey, we found this boat immediately after the guy died. And Peter's like, hey, that's our boat. And look inside. There's blood and a bullet. Hey, bullet and gun. Bullets come from gun in guy's hand. There's a guy that's got a gun up in my cabin. He's my best friend now. And you should arrest him. That's a stretch, Peter, but I guess you're a Von Cleese, so we gotta go on it.
Yeah.
So the cops, like, I'll handle this. Just you stay back, Peter. I don't know why he brought you, in fact.
Well, he's teaching him a lesson.
Yeah, I guess.
He's teaching him to shut the fuck up and mind his own business.
He doesn't.
He doesn't. He fucking bullhorns it. And he's like, fine, I'm expediting this process. Evelyn, give me that. It's a fucking wooden prop. Dick face. Stay out of police business and fuck off. You are not Nancy Drew.
Right. But so then, like, this goes on for a while. Like, it's the mayor of Amity in Jaws. Like, oh, nobody's listening to me because there's a killer loose. And he's like, well, I gotta go fill out these forms. Yeah, you're too busy filling out your forms, you form filler, fucker.
Yeah.
For like just goes on a tirade about, oh, that you can't help. That guy's never going to help you because he's busy filling out his forms.
Yeah, he gets all pissed off about this. And at the same time, you got to go on the sheriff's side and be like, oh, missing person during the festival? He's probably over there or over there or over there and definitely fucking drunk.
Right. And Kirsten, she's like, she screams something completely unintelligible.
This is great.
It's so great
that this got left in because she doesn't know what she's supposed to. She fucks up, but she commits to it and she just goes, and then leaves. And you're like, I'm so glad you left that in. It works perfectly.
And so she goes down to the dock and the whole time she's just talking to herself completely like, hey, this is not supposed to happen to people like me. I don't deserve this. Like, lady, what are you talking about? And also, you're by yourself. You're going to go down and suntan at a dock. Yeah, you got it pretty bad right now. So, we see Durst, speaking of red herring, he's out fishing with a giant red lure. That's the exact same red lure that we see people getting murdered. And she's out in the water. She floats away from the dock on a floaty. She's way too fucking far away. Like, you should have opened an eye up every now and then. You can't do that. And there's a hook. The lure is floating around, coming at her, and it lands on her raft. And she then gets ran over. She
might almost get hit by the boat. We find out later what happens, but it's just really. Like, what happened? Yeah, we do. We find out what happens later.
I don't know. Anyways, so yeah, Durst is a red herring. My note is he caught a red herring. Ha ha ha. I'm so clever. And he's now the leader and friends. Oh yeah, like he caught a big one, and he's down in town with the kids who he was yelling at earlier, and they're all pals now. Like, yeah, high five! You caught a giant fish. You rule.
He's stressed out. He's been watching his best friend's cabin for 20 fucking years. For this day to come, or that was yesterday, and the kid shows up and he's a fucking dickhead. So he's a little miffed, but he's been trying to land this goddamn muskie for 15 years. And he gets it, and the weight is off his chest. So he's fine now.
Yeah, he's good. He's good. Everybody likes him now. All is forgiven. We're sorry that you were a dick earlier, but now you're friends with us. Vinner and Bev, they're out being terrible parents again. And they make out, but they don't bang because she's not ready for that yet. She's still wearing a fucking wedding ring.
She's now wearing a bathrobe. They do a cutaway to a different scene and come back, and she's wearing a bathrobe. They banged.
But she says, like, I'm just not ready. I'm not ready for stuff right now. And he's like, oh, well, I guess I'll go fishing then. Like,
well, because he's, like, being clingy and, like,
he's being clingy.
Can I make you breakfast? And, hey, what are you doing later? And you want to come over to meet my mom? He's being that guy.
Yeah.
And she
like, says,
no, get the fuck out of here. Like, you should recognize a one night stand when you see it. Okay. Like, I am obviously put on clothes and I am standing at the kitchen counter, which is your indication to get the fuck out.
Jangling your keys in front of you.
For her, it's not even a one night stand. It's a post jog bang.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's like, you're not very good at jogging. So if I bang the hell out of you, I'll at least get the rest of my exercise.
It's like,
well, I really like you. Okay, come back at exactly midnight.
Yeah, right. Okay, I'll be here at midnight. Okay, good. I love you.
Not even that. Oh, great. Good job. Midnight. Yeah, exactly.
No, that's what she says. But he's the type of guy that says, he's like, I love you. And waits awkwardly for no reply.
Yep.
Did you hear me? Okay. So Peter, he's bitching about the cicadas, and I'm like, I'm right there with you. That's the only thing you and I agree on, Peter. I hate cicadas. And then the Dursts come in and just start spouting nonsense at each other. Conspiracy theories by the kid. And then the dad's like, God damn it, you guys don't know how to do anything around here. And then they just both leave.
Yeah, and Evelyn's like, no, never sneak up on me. And he's like,
yeah, right.
I walked in through a door and you were facing that door. Sneaky.
And then Durst the senior comes in and he's like really all sad and like forlorn looking. And he's like, I once shot your grandpa in the ass and he wouldn't pull the bullet out. And instead of being mad at me, he gave me a job. And then he just walks off. It's like, okay.
He's saying sorry in his own way.
Yeah, it's a weird way.
He's got the fish thing off his chest. Now he's got the bullet thing off his chest. He's like, all right, you're a fucking douchebag, but I love your grandpa so much that I'm going to fucking deal with you, okay? I'm going to fucking deal with you.
And then moops off the screen, and they don't even reflect on it at all. Peter and his girlfriend, they are immediately talking about something else. Like, it is the strangest fucking series of conversations that happen right here in like 5 minutes, and it's glorious. I love it. So then, meanwhile, the RV kid is down at the bait shop stealing change out of the cash register.
We think, but that's not what he takes.
Yeah, he does take something else. And he keeps like putting the stud finder on top of the head of Lukey, the Ludkey, the fish bait owner, because he's got like this bump and the magnets going towards it because we find out that he was in Korea. He got shot in the lid and he's got metal up in his skull, the metal plate or something, or maybe the bullet. I don't know, but it's up there. So he's like, don't you got a home to go to, kid? I'll give you a ride back to the RV in my boat. And because your dad's busy littering and getting stuck in the middle of the lake because he doesn't know how to turn on an engine. He's out there screaming and blowing an air horn and being like, screw this lake and screw all of you if you won't come help me. And Jackie made the good observation that there's a on switch that was in the off position every time he tries to turn the key. Is that a rental?
Also like this line too because right before this we also see that Bev is sleeping with conspiracy theory guy and that that's actually her husband.
Yeah.
Well, this is why she told him to come back exactly at midnight to
witness,
break his heart in a way that she doesn't have to be completely involved.
Right.
Like she's good at what she does.
Yeah,
in the banging respect. Parenting is not her bag.
She's a cruel. She's a cruel. Yeah, she's cruel, but good at being cruel.
Yeah.
So Finnegan, as he's walking back, he sees the guy out in the boat and hears his air horn and stuff. And he's like, if you don't shut the fuck up, I'll shut you the fuck up for you, or whatever he says.
Yeah.
Calls him a bat. Like, it's so good. It's like, it should be garbage day line plastered all over the internet. Finner going, you shut the fuck up, you bastard, or I'll shut it up for you. It's just like, what are you doing, Fitter? God, I know you got your heart stepped on, but you're pissed off at some guy stuck out on the lake now? Like, it's hilarious. Meanwhile, Linda has taken her top off and given us a side boob. I know her name's Anne.
The side boob, yeah. But what really happens here is that for the umpteenth time, she tries to bang her boyfriend, and he finally abides.
Well, here's the thing. Jackie made a good observation. When she takes her shirt off, Peter looks quite vexed. I shouldn't say vexed. He looks sad. Like, tits.
I think he's doing a bad job acting, and she's doing a good job acting, and he's like, I know you don't want to do this. And she's like, the camera's on, stupid.
I don't know. I'm not talking about the actor. I'm talking about Peter. There's something going on that I think Jackie hit it on the head. Her gaydar went way off the charts for Peter.
Oh.
I think Peter's in the closet. And that's what this whole thing has been about this whole time, why he's so moopy and doesn't want to do anything because everybody's got these expectations for him and he can't live the life he wants to be because it's 1986.
That could be.
And he's like, damn it, tits again.
But even if he is gay, it doesn't excuse how much of a douchebag he is.
He's still a total douche, but,
And,
but it would explain a lot about
gay people are totally respectable. Like, be a respectable gay person, damn it.
Yay, tits. Like, put on a good show at least. I got my tits out. Pretend you like them. Otherwise, it hurts me.
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying, Sam?
They're fun, even if it's not sexual. And you're like, blue, 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 blue.
Like a cat.
Motorboating.
The old juggle, like, whoa, I can do that. Wee! I mean, I'm gay as shit, but man, tits are fun.
Why wouldn't they be?
Seems like I don't know. My brain doesn't work that way. If I was to do that with tits, it'd be, there's only one direction this plane's going, lady. It's not the circus. It's you feeling guilty and ashamed after in about 10 minutes as I roll around on top of you and then make a really dumb face and then go into the bathroom and take a huge dump. That's what good sex does to me. Makes me have to shit. Kingpin, it's a reference. Jackie, you look like you were going to say something before I railroaded that whole conversation. Nope, guess not.
Nope. I can't think of it now.
Way to go, Tits McGee.
Well, no. Okay, so I guess now I remember, thanks to the word tit, like totally brought me back. But it really does explain his actions later. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Or his inaction.
You're right. So, so where are we at? Peter is sad. Oh, Dad's still stuck out on the lake. And he says, fine, I'll stay out here all night. He opens up his shirt because that's what middle-aged men do in the middle of the night on a lake. And he gets hooked in the chest or in the tummy, and it cuts his tummy up, and then he's pulled into the water. He's reeled in. And Peter, he's now thinking that Finner is the killer because Finner's been a jerk.
Because he's not Nancy fucking Drew. That's why.
Yeah, but what's his
he's
logic?
An idiot.
Like, Finner knows about dead guys. I know about dead guys. Finner is the killer.
He just leaps to any conclusion he can throughout this entire picture.
Oh, you got to talk me out of it. There's only one way to. We'll just go to Bev's. See if he's there. If they're in there making out and having a good time and he's looking at tits. I mean, not having a good time, but if he's doing whatever it is that he does, then it's fine. But if she's not there, then he's the killer. So they go over there.
But what she's really hoping for this visit is that Peter's going to pick up some tips and tricks.
Right. That's what Anne's
she's
thinking.
Like, look, that is what it's supposed to be like, not your business.
Yeah, whatever the last night was. So Bev is done with Durst Jr. and she's going to go for a swim because the baby's in the cage inside the house that bears can get into. And then she's hooked and she gets the hook off of her, but then she's bonked in the face by an oar.
Yeah.
So she's down. Goodbye, Bev. Peter and company, they show up. They find the clues, like part of her swimsuit, I think. And what was the other thing they found? Something of Finner's. Oh, the tassel. The fishing tassel.
The tassel, yeah.
He had that there. Well, I'm not sure why. So they're like, oh, it's totally Finner. And they call the cops, and the cops are like, yeah, no, I don't think so. And Finner, he's like, oh, I'm sad. So I'm going to go on the lake, and I'm going to get drunk in front of the bait shop.
This is a great Bob Marley Muskie song.
Yeah.
Finner's great.
So he starts playing music, singing this Bob Marley fishing song, and Lukey can't handle it. Then after that he turns on that shitty song that we've been hearing 50 times in this movie that's like almost as good as Idiot Control now.
Yeah, and they actually said what it was earlier. It was oh, did you guys hear the new, this is Red Echo live at Budokan.
That's my favorite album. Yeah, no kidding. You've heard it like 60 times in this. Oh, yeah. So Lukey can't handle it, and it's revealed that he's been the murderer this whole time. And he goes all crazy, and he chucks the line, and he hooks his ear off. And
this is then the greatest retaliation and escape plan ever, is that he comes free, he loses an ear. So he throws a beer at him and then does the worst dive ever to drown himself.
Right. He jumps off the boat.
Turn the boat on and drive away.
But then as soon as he's in the water, he turns around and tries to get back on the boat.
Because he realizes how stupid his plan was.
This was a bad idea. Why am I in the water? But
he's
then
got
also
jeans on.
Yeah, no shit. He's like, hold on. Give me some dignity. I got jeans on. So he like gets pulled in with the boat by Lukey and gets the hook, one of those giant fish meat hooks.
No, that's not a fish meat hook. It's a hook for hooking the boat and bringing it in, but you can kill somebody with it.
Yeah, well, he's dead. And he gets pulled inside, and he gets the stringer shoved up through his mouth.
When the makeup department starts lifting flexing its muscles,
it's a pretty
and
good
you find
looking
out
head.
that it's good. This is all good. And just the idea of it is good. Is like he's making a stringer of humans.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah. I mean, the head looked just like the guy. I was really like, that's a pretty good looking head. Usually they look terrible, especially for $200,000.
Apparently the makeup guy got pulled over for speeding in the town one night. And they saw these like weird body parts, and the priest's like, what the fuck is going on? And he's like, I'm with the movie. And he showed them how the props work, and they're like, oh, all right, well, you don't need a speeding ticket. Just, slow down.
Okay, well, yeah, but how many beers you got in there?
Well, he had to be wasted.
Oh, okay. Looks
they
like
wouldn't let him off.
You got about 12 cans, 12 empties in there. Okay. Yeah, you go ahead with your severed heads. Have a good night, sir.
Yeah, did you start out with an 18-pack?
Yep.
Well, you got to pay the tax man. Give us a couple of those.
And apparently he's making burgers out of him as well because he puts his fingers in the meat grinder.
Sausage fingers, finger sausage. I had to write that down because I was like, oh my God, sausage fingers, but now it's finger sausage.
That's so stupid.
It's amazing.
Meanwhile, Kirsten has arrived out of nowhere, and apparently she's just been swimming in the lake for 12 hours.
It makes perfect sense, actually. Some of the things that happen in here, like, oh, that checks out. Because she's just like, oh, God, I swam. I almost got hit by a boat, and I, swam forever, and then I got fucking lost. And then I found a boat, and I came back. I actually drove the boat around forever, but I didn't know where the fuck I was going. And then I ended up back here, and I'm like, oh, my God, what the fuck is going on? And you're like, oh, good. You're not dead. Hi. And this totally checks out. You're an idiot.
And Peter looks in the boat, and he finds an ear yes, it is Fitter's ear. We saw him holding it, and he's like, oh, poor Fitter. Because you recognized his ear?
I'd know that ear anywhere.
Oh, he's dead.
That checks out with Jackie's gay business, though.
That he's
smelling his ear, and he knows it. He wants to put it in his mouth.
Here's your chance, buddy. It's right there.
He's nibbled that ear more than once.
And then we go back to the fish shop, and we see Lukey pulling in his stringer of catches. He's got all the dead people.
And this is... Did you kind of pay it? I watched this one twice, too. Those aren't props. I think those are the actors with makeup.
I think they're actors with makeup.
And it's really well done.
Yeah. It would be... Because there's a lot of torso. Yeah, there's a lot of torso. And to have it float through the water, you got to have people do that.
Yeah, it was. I was very impressed by this.
I thought they looked a little corny, but it's good.
It was good corny, though.
It was good corny.
And intentional because of the giant eyes and that, and it was very well done, I thought.
So back at the cabin, Peter's just still laying around like, ugh. But as he's spitballing with his Nancy Drew shit, he does crack the crime open. He's like, music, sound, death notes, cicadas? That's why the murders are happening.
And then Evelyn completely fucking paid attention to half of it, and the kid walks in, and he's like, it's the Devil's Trilogy! And he's like, it's a tritone? Whatever. And the kid actually solved it like 2 hours ago.
Right. Yeah.
Because he's got the bullet.
He's got the bullet that was in the guy's ass, that the only way it was coming out was if that guy was dead. And he is. Grandpa. And he hung on to that lucky bullet because that was their thing. Not their thing, but he liked the bullet. It's part of the story. Anyways. So, yeah, that's the thing. He's got a plate in his head. He gets radio waves in it whenever he hears freaking tunes that have the trinotes, and it makes him go bonkers and wants to kill people, and the method of murder is fishing.
Yeah.
Because that's what he's good at, is fishing.
He lures them to death.
Yeah. Yep, it's the old bait and death.
Mm-hmm. Meanwhile, Anne has gotten pass-out drunk on a bottle of brandy, and she's just been laying on the floor for about 4 hours, and she just comes to when there's a bunch of people there.
You know, it's really...
And then rather than do anything useful, she's like, I'll just go down by the murder lake.
We really blew the intro to this, the cold open, because we didn't make any of those stupid jokes that this movie like delivers. Like, wow, this movie really reeled me in. We could have done that. Like, we could have gone like 4 or 5 rounds of just corny one-liners that are fishing related. How did we not do that? Yeah.
Other than reeled in, I didn't have anything.
No, I'm out of ideas.
Justin, is because we didn't have our floater set high enough.
That's
what?
Stupid.
The little red and white balls.
The bobber set high enough?
Yeah.
Yeah, so
the settings on the bobbers?
Oh, I got one. Here on Sinker Madness.
Oh, okay, there you go.
Oh
yeah,
boy.
that's a good one.
Okay. All right.
Big musky, more like big side boob. Is that fishing? Can you fish for side boob?
All the time.
I'll be right back.
All the time. Okay, yeah, so let's move on. Durst tells them, dear senior comes in, he's like, this conspiracy theory crap is cuckoo. That's the nicest man I've ever met in my entire life. Other than your grandpa, he was my best friend. And I'm just gonna leave the same way I always leave after I speak. Goodbye.
Well, no, they were like, no, it's true. I've got Bev's wedding ring. We found it in the minnows.
Yeah.
With the minnows. And look, I've got your best friend's bullet. That
we're not there yet.
We're not
there yet. So they're gonna go after Lukey, and they go down to the bake shop, just the two of them, and they leave the kids there with passed out drunk Lisa. Nice work there.
Mm-hmm. I skipped ahead. So this is where Lisa's going to come to and decide to boombox the lake like a fucking idiot.
She gets up. She goes down to the boombox. She doesn't know. She was passed out while they were talking about all this. They should have been like, left a note like, whatever you do, don't turn on boombox.
By the time she gets passed out drunk on brandy, I'm pretty sure she knows the lake's the most dangerous place in town.
Yeah. Yeah, don't go down to the lake. Okay, whatever. And the boys find a bunch of guts in the fridge. And they're like, oh, Jesus, look at all these guts. What is this? Never mind. Cleveland in 1992. Jesus, why do I have to do it?
Damn it, no.
I suck. I'm so bad.
I had a better one where he's like, he picks it up and he puts down the guts. And he's like, oh, it's all over my hands. And then Evelyn goes, look with your eyes, not your hands, dickhead.
Oh, man, they're all gross and gooey. And, oh, ew. Yeah. And they find Bev's ring. So Lukey, he rose up to Lisa and he hooks her hand and she gets it off of her and runs away. But the cart isn't down. So she has to wait for the cart to come down, but how did you get down there if the cart isn't dead? There's no other way. The cart is the way. You went down there and...
You could probably just hustle up the hill.
I don't know, man. We don't see her come down, but I would assume she would have taken the cart. Everybody takes the cart. Anyways.
Maybe she's just dumb enough that she like rode the cart down and then sent it back up.
Right. Just in case somebody else needs it. No, that's not how that works.
Because it takes so long.
Yeah. So I guess he gets her. We don't really see. He throws a line and cuts away. But Peter comes back. He can't find her, but he finds the boombox and he's like, my God, she's been taken. And she has been taken. She's tied up in the bait shop instead of dead.
Because she's too annoying to kill. She hasn't shut the fuck up. Ludke's like, why you don't just... He's vexed by her because she's psychoanalyzing him, and he's like, I don't know. What am I going to do? Okay. He just stuffs her in a fridge because he's tired of listening to her.
Oh, man. So the group finally convinces Durst Sr. that it's Lukey with the bullet that the kid finds and the ring and all. It's finally in place. And he's like, okay, this is how we're going to get him. We're going to bait him out. And so Peter's the bait.
Sort of. Really, all he wants to do is all you got to do is turn that on. He's going to go outside. I'm going to shoot him.
Yeah, right.
And Peter can't bring himself to do that.
What the hell, dude? You had one job.
Reason.
You had one fucking job, and you spent the entire night in the lake making a poopy moopy face.
And then he boats back to his cabin and is like, I guess I'll bang Kirsten.
No.
But then
you
like,
skip over. Lukey rides past him in the morning with like something that looks like it's in a tarp, and he thinks it's Anne, and he's like, you son of a bitch, I'll kill you. It's like, no, you won't.
No,
the
you
sturgeon
won't.
is, or the mackerel or whatever. It's wearing Karen's kimono.
Right. So
It's her bathrobe.
Yeah, you're not going to do shit, bro. You sat in the lake all night long while men with guns are in the truck waiting on you, and you couldn't do it. You couldn't hit play on your tape machine. I'm paralyzed. But I'll kill you. I don't think you're going to, you wanker. All right. So he goes bed with Kirsten, and he's like almost about to fondle her up, and he's like, wait, no, I just want to be comforted because I'm not interested in your body. And he gets up, and he's like, ugh, and I'm going to go do something about all this, but he's not. Lukey, he didn't take Karen, nice, Anne out her dead body. It was a giant fish. He won the fishing tournament.
Mm-hmm.
50-pounder. That's a big muskie.
Big muskie.
But what's his name? Durst. He like runs up with a shotgun. He's like, I'm gonna kill you, you son of a bitch. And the cops get him. They stop him and they tell him, hey, just go home. Just go. You're being crazy. Just go home.
Wayne, God damn it. I know it was a 46-pounder and it would have won every other year, but he got a 50. Just calm the fuck down.
So now he goes and hangs out with Peter, who now wants revenge. And I'm going to beat him as an own game. Fishing.
And Wayne kind of gets on board. He's like, all right. And he's like, teach me how to cast. And he goes, you've been doing it. You just need to do it like an adult man and not a 10-year-old.
Oh, it's so hilarious because the whole thing is like, you'll never beat him casting like that. He's the best at this. And, no, I've got to beat him this way. And then he's like, teach me. And so he, like, Wayne walks over there and, like, adjusts his back a little bit. And then now he's the perfect caster.
And then he goes,
that's it, son.
Throw it harder, stupid.
Yeah.
You're all set.
Now I can kill that guy because you moved my back a little bit. Okay. So he goes out to the bait shop and he cranks the tunes and it pisses off Lukey. and he comes outside, and they are both casting at each other. This is a Mexican cast-off.
It's an epic casting battle.
At each
they
other.
have each other hooked, and then he realizes his own stupidity because he's in a boat,
right?
And look, he's on the dock, and even though they're both hooked, when they reel each other in, he's gonna get reeled into the dock.
Right? Stupid man.
Where he gets hit by an oar or a fist and is knocked out and brought inside to be killed.
Passes out from blood loss or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
None of this checks out with the medical industry. But he brings Peter inside to gut him, and Peter wakes up, and he also brought the boombox. That was nice of him. And he blasts the tunes again, and Lukey's all, and pulls Anne out of the fridge because she starts
kicking the fridge when
yeah.
She starts kicking the fridge when she hears noise.
I'm in here. Did you suffocate? No, I don't know how.
There was bullet holes in the door.
Oh, okay. From what? Anyways.
From a gun?
Yeah, okay. Just some weekend fridge shooting?
Yeah, I guess.
Okay. It's not how you keep a fridge. It's not how you're going to keep your worms cold there, buddy. Shooting holes in your fridge.
Yeah.
Okay. But he also knocks the boombox into the horse trough.
Because beyond being a douchebag, he's just horrendously incompetent in everything he does.
Right. So Lukey's about to kill him, which I was like, come on. I hate this guy. And the cops pull up, and it drives Lukey into the woods. He runs into the woods going, ah! Later, the kids that are left, they drive by the town muskie and shed a tear and go on back to their life of wherever the hell they were.
So there's only 3 left. It's both girls, and they've had quite a weekend, and they turn to him and go, this is never going to happen again. You want to go for a 3-way? And he's like, no, thank you.
No, I'm sad. I'm so sad. As Lukey wanders the woods, screaming, pissed off at cicadas for the rest of his life.
And Wayne is employed by the sheriff to hunt down his friend. And he's like, I'll help you as best I can. Hunt down my friend that killed my other friend. My son's a fucking idiot that couldn't stay married because he got married to this town trollop and he's the village idiot. And
killed the mother
God,
of my
I hate
grandson.
musky madness.
Yeah, musky madness every goddamn year. Okay, that's your movie. Oh, also it ties in that, like, there's this whole thing that the cicadas are also the cause. It can't just be loud tunes in the death note. It fires up the cicadas when they hear the death note.
Well, the cicadas are the third tone, the missing tone of the tritone.
Gotcha. Okay, so if they're in the ground, nothing is happening. It's just when they come out, all hell breaks loose, which I can attest to.
Yeah.
Questions, Jackie?
No, I don't have any.
Questions, me. Do the citizens of this town, it's filmed in, what was it, Hayward,
Wisconsin.
Yeah, do the citizens of this particular town, Wisconsin, give a shit about all these people that just died, or do they just keep on going, doing their thing? Festival still goes on. We don't care about all that.
Well, apparently this has happened 3 times before, or twice before, every 17 years, so I'm thinking they just keep on keeping on, because they've already done that twice.
Look, we don't give a shit about a bunch of Chicago people that came up here and, like, threw their trash out in our lake. We told them not to do that, and they did it anyways. So, yeah, I'm just going to go down there and go fishing.
Yeah.
Okay, good. It's not like Amity, but...
Nope.
Okay. Sam, question.
Is this the tightest ship you've ever seen for $200,000?
And it's...
Or at least most impressive $200,000 production. How about that? Rephrase it.
I mean, really hard to judge, but it's got to be up there. I mean, it really is. I can't think of anything off the top of my head that comes close. I'm sure there are. Hell Comes to Frogtown cost how much?
A lot. Remember, that was the one that he was like, you don't want to let the Hollywood money people in because they're going to, I think it was over $1 million.
Yeah, over $1 million, but that's a tight ship.
That's a tight ship.
Yeah, 200,000 is really lean, really fucking lean for what this movie does. I'm shocked by that, actually. Should be like, I would think 2 is my guess if I had gone into this 2 million. But
I was super impressed with it.
750,000,
maybe,
because it is completely independent, but a completely independent buddy project on $200,000 shot on 16 millimeter.
Because you think like
with makeup, everything.
You think Neil Breen movies cost about $200,000, and wow. I mean, The Room cost over $1 million. Birdemic.
Didn't The Room cost like $7 million or something like that?
Yeah, he spent a lot of money. Birdemic costs $2. I mean, this is tight shit. So these guys could have gone on and done a lot of shit, and they did. Just not what we would have expected with an efficient thing like this.
Yeah, if not for the MPAA, right?
Right.
Because that set them back for a year. They went back to the TV station. Mm-hmm. By the time this thing's getting re-released, they're already having their little fun at the TV station. And the next year, which would have been about when maybe they think about doing this again, they start doing MST3K, which is an extremely tight ship for a fucking UHF station.
Yeah.
That might be the tightest fucking ship ever.
You know, the MPAA was wrong here. And they did something terrible and immoral and wrong that screws over a lot of good directors every year. But thank God they did. Because without it, if these guys had been successful filmmakers, we probably would have got Mystery Science Theater 3000 and God knows where the world would be.
Yeah, I don't know.
World War III would have broken out totally, for sure by now, if it hadn't been for MST3K. Like, the MPAA saved the world.
I would be a different person without that show.
Completely different person. We'd probably...
Because that hit me when I was the clay that needed to be molded, right? I'm like 10 or 11 or something like that. I'm like 10 when that shit happened.
We'd probably all listen to Nickelback and like
I don't know if
Creed
that would
and
happen.
Shit. Like, we'd be totally different people with no taste in anything.
No, I'd probably be like a physicist or something. I would have gotten a useful job.
Yeah, Mystery Science 3000 fucking dumbed you down a bit, huh?
It was one of the many things that made me get a fucking filmmaking degree, which is not the thing you want to do right. Unless you're already rich.
Yeah. Or have access to a UHF channel. Final recommendations. I'll start. Yeah, it's a do for me. I really liked it, and it is a fantastic riffer. The irony of the fact that it's a riffer made by somebody who would go on to riff professionally. It doesn't escape me, that irony, but yeah, it's fun. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Jackie?
Yeah, I'm giving it a do as well. I was entertained. I laughed a lot. The one-liners in there were great. I'm not square dancing with you people. It's just like, I don't know. It was a good time.
And the dialogue is so bafflingly strange. So weird. And it's a dialogue-heavy movie for a slasher. Yeah. It's just a strange movie, and it stinks. I love it. Damn.
Absolutely do. And I'm so glad that Vinegar Syndrome got a hold of the X-rated version and remastered it.
Yeah, totally.
This is just great. I love it.
God, if we'd seen the edited version, we might not be a do.
It'll probably still be a do, but it would be more confusing.
Yeah.
And then it would be, we might not have seen the nut hook. I mean, I'm guessing no nut hook. I'm guessing no,
head string.
Putting him on the stringer.
Yeah.
You probably still get to see them on the stringer, but you don't get to see him string him up.
Yeah.
So.
Two parts of the movie that were pivotal.
Yeah, absolutely. So, screw you, MPAA, but also kind of thanks. But don't do that again. Anyways, next week we are off. Jackie will be traveling, and so we're going to take a break. And then when we come back, it will be Jackie's turn. We'll have one more movie before Halloween, so hopefully she'll have a good one ready for you, which I'm assuming she does not right now.
No, I do not have anything right now. You know what? I went back to being a piece of shit that doesn't like try to prep for anything, doesn't read anything about the movie, doesn't understand who the cast members actually are, just makes up names for people. I'm back to that. I mean, I really got to get back to my roots of being just a piece of shit on this podcast.
There you go. All right, guys, have a great week. Get to the chopper.